All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming, and in the last video we went over the first three of our view files. First, we went over the views shared underscore layout.cshtml file, which is the master layout template for our entire application. All right. Then we went over the views / underscore view imports.cshtml file, and basically that file is kind of like our master, holds our master using statements that we're able to use. It holds the using directives, and it has the add tag helper, which registers the built-in ASP.NET Core tag helpers that we're going to be using a little bit later. Finally, we went over the views underscore / underscore view start.cshtml file, which is the file that runs automatically before every view in the views folder. Now, what I'd like to do in this particular video is I would like to go over, at a minimum, the views / home / index.cshtml, and if time, the views / employee / index.cshtml. So let's start with the home. Now, I've already written this, and I'm going to go over each and every line in here, so hopefully it'll make some sense to you. All right, so the first thing that we're doing in here, so again, this is our applications, call it the dashboard page, the startup page, the landing page, whatever. It's going to be rendered by home controller.index whenever we do a get. All right, so the first thing we're doing in here with this view data title is we're setting the browser's tab title, and we're using the underscore layout.cshtml title thing that's in there. So this should say home, and then as we saw before with a dash, and then the name of our program. All right. Okay. Then as we come in here, we're actually using some Bootstrap right here. Now, I don't have the time, the desire, the inclination to go over Bootstrap with you. So what I'll tell you is, and then kind of push you off where I pushed you off before, and that is if you go out to w3schools.com/bootstrap. I think that'll give me something. Hopefully it will. There's a Bootstrap tutorial. All right, now we're using, I believe, Bootstrap 5 in here, but that will give you a good start. Also, you know, I've not spent really any time going over HTML, going over CSS, going over Bootstrap, going over JavaScript. And one place I'd recommend that you go, I'm going to go out to YouTube here. And there's a gentleman who has been writing stuff for a long, long time, and his name is Brad Traversy. All right, so I'm going to type in, for example, Brad Traversy HTML crash course. Now, this is not going to be a new video. Okay, crash course for beginners, 8 years ago. This guy is phenomenal. All right, I have corresponded with him over the years, and he's just a terrific, seems to be a terrific person, and he writes terrific material. So there's a crash course for HTML. There's one for HTML. I'm sure there's going to be one in here. Let's see if there's one for CSS. There's a CSS crash course. Let's see if there's one for Bootstrap. There's a Bootstrap 5 one, and again, that's 4 years old. That's probably the newest out of all the ones in here. Finally, JavaScript. Now, if you watch all of these tutorials, and I'm not saying you're going to watch it and understand every flipping thing that's in here, but probably is going to be 5 to 7 hours worth of material, you won't get taught or shown this material by anybody better than Mr. Traversy. All right, that's a promise from me. And there's a lot of people who are out there that are good. All right, I mean that are really good, but he's just one. He's very elite. All right. So we started. So that says that basically we're using a cart class. We've got an H2 tag in there, so this should say payroll program, EFCore plus ASP.NET Core MVC. This is the web version of the payroll program. All employee CRUD data is saved to the database, so it should say that on here. Then we've got our employee categories. All right, what are they? Well, we're going to have a type, employee type, the fields in there, and the range that's in there. So in other words, these are the headings. So it should first say hourly for the type, hours work / hourly rate for the fields, and 0 to 84 hours and 0 to 99.99 for the range. Then for piece worker, that'll be the title. I like to put it as one word. Pieces made. Let's just be a little, whatever here. So hours worked and hourly rate, pieces made, and price per piece. So those are the field names, and the ranges are going to be 0 to 100 pieces and 1 cent to $1 for price for piece. Commission, the sales, will be the title. The sales amount will be 0 to 100,000, and the commission percentage will be 0 to 0.3 or 30%. The salaried will be the title, the weekly salary, and let's be consistent here. All right, will be 0 to 100,000. Okay. Then we've got a couple buttons in here, and these are going to be big buttons. The first one will be to view all employees, and the second one will be to add an employee. So that's what we'll be able to do from our home page. Okay, to view all the employees or to add an employee. Now, in a couple minutes, I'm going to run this, and hopefully at least it's going to work, but to only work to a point. And what I mean by that is I'm not going to be able to view all employees or add employees yet because I don't have those views written. We're going to do that in future videos, but that's what's in this one. So let me do a file save all here, and then let's look at the other one. So this is a little bit longer. See, it's about, I was going to say 80 to 90 lines. I didn't know exactly how many. So as we start taking a look in here at this one, all right, this is going to display the full list of employees or a filtered subset as an HTML table. It's going to be rendered by employeecontroller.index, and we'll have to pass it a type. The first thing we have in there is model I enumerable, etc. And the controller is going to pass a list of employee objects. So they could be any of the 4 types. It could be an hourly employee, a piece worker employee, a commission employee, or a salaried employee. All right. Next, we've got an H3 tag, and it's got viewbag.filterType. That's going to be set by the controller to a human readable string, either all or hourly, or piece worker, or commission, or salaried. All right. In here, I guess I skipped that, we're setting the title. Remember, we've got that information that we added earlier. So this is going to say employees dash and then the name of the program, basically. All right. So now we're in here. So what is this stuff that's in here? All right. Well, each button that you see here, and we've got a bunch of buttons. All right. Each button is going to pass an ASP route type query string value. So in other words, it's going to tell us where we want to go. So this is going to say we want to go to hourly employees. This is going to say we want to go to piece worker employees. This is going to say we want to go to commission employees, and this will say we want to go to salaried employees. All right. And then in here, this will be the create if we want to add an employee. Now we've got another table in here. This is a little bit hinky maybe for you to understand, but as it says, these are going to be our headings. So ID, So we're going to run through this. This is going to show us each type of employee. So for that employee, it'll show us their ID, their last name, and their first name. We could change it around and make it first name and last name. I actually like that better. So let's do that. I don't think it's going to matter if we do it that way. I've been tinkering around with this a little bit, so. All right. Now notice we have a for loop in here. It's a for each, but it's a for loop. And inside of that for loop, for each employee, we'll loop through, show their ID, their first name, and their last name. Then we're going to replace, all right, this blank space with the type of employee that we have. So if it's an hourly employee, we'll have the hours worked and the hourly rate. If it's a piece worker employee, the piece is made and the price per piece. Now these dollar signs in here, that's not a dollar sign. That's basically, we're using that. This is a dollar sign. This is being used so we can interpolate and grab that information. All right, hourly rate, I think we could put a C2 in there. Okay, pieces made, that looks good. Pieces, I think we can do the same thing here with the C. Commission workers, where we'll have the sales amount. Well, again, we put a dollar sign in there. Oh, we do have a dollar sign in there. So it doesn't matter. Let's just leave it the way it was. We'll put an N there and an N there. So we're manually prefixing the dollar sign in there. Percentage, and then the salary per week. All right. And then we should have the gross pay. And you'll notice in there we will have two buttons. One which will allow us to edit an employee. One which will allow us to delete an employee. All right. Now we've got a little bit of stuff in here. I didn't really know if I wanted to go over this or not. But there is a little bit of stuff in here. Table stripe, table hover. So it's going to be, every other row will be a little bit darker light type of thing. And if you hover over it, it'll change a little bit as well. Now, that's the big thing. I have no idea. I think this is going to work, but it might not. So let's take a look and see what we have so far. This is not complete. Well, it's not showing me errors, and that's always a good sign. Oh, there we go. Payroll program, EFCore plus ASP.NET Core MVC. This is the web version of the program. All employee CRUD data is saved to database payroll ASPDB. Then we've got our categories. Hourly, which has got hours worked and hourly rate. Piece worker, which has got pieces made and price per piece. Commission, sales amount, commission percentage, and salary to weekly salary, and those are the ranges. Now again, these aren't going to work. And in here, the only thing I'd like to change is I don't think this privacy is going to work. Yeah, I didn't, because I removed the privacy page. So I'm going to take that out of there. All right. But the good news is it works. Now, all employees and view all employees, add employee, and etc. They're going to do the same thing. Now, this isn't going to work. View all employees. I don't think it's going to work, at least, because we don't have that in there yet. Same with add employees. See, it's giving us exceptions, and that's okay. All right, I want to go back here and I want to remove that privacy thing that was in here. Yeah, it's giving us an error. I'm not going to worry about that now. That's what we're going to start on in the next set of videos. So let's see. I guess that's the wrong one. It's got to be in this one. Somewhere in here it's got privacy. I know there's a footer in there that we've got privacy in. Okay. Well, where the heck are we getting that from? That means we're getting it in one of our view files. It's not in there. Now we'll find it. I'm going to remove the privacy settings is all I want to tell you. Okay? All right. And we'll do that in the next video. Now, in the next video, what we're going to do, all right, and this is going to take quite a few videos. Under our employee views, we're going to write a create.cshtml. Right now, we've only got our index, but we're going to write a create.cshtml. We are going to write an edit.cshtml, and we are going to write a delete.cshtml. And I think what I'm going to do in those, even though this is going to take a long time, is rather than copy them in like I've done here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally write them all from scratch so you can see what I'm doing as I'm doing it. And I'll be back to do that in a little bit. Thanks.